You're with Julian on the Brown Note and a review of The Accountant 2 starring Ben Affleck, which is it was released in the cinemas and did pretty decent and is now on streaming. Now, The Accountant I was a big fan of. It's one of those films like the Constantine movie or the Judge Dredd movie where I really appreciated it, and so did a large part of the audience, much more than its impact at the time, and the idea of, following it up has always been on the cards. The original had a lot of elements for a top-tier B movie that I thought set it apart, particularly Ben Affleck, who was excellent in it, as this autistic hitman / accountant who ends up, I think with Anna Kendrick's, in this, finding out that this company has been fleecing the books, but on the other side of it, he is also a lethal hitman that had been involved in a mass shooting of mob people, and he's pursued by J.K. Simmons and other people throughout. It had so many elements to it that I really appreciated. I mean, the portrayal of people with mental health problems or conditions such as autism made him, he was a very refreshing character in how down he was. I thought he did a really good job. Plus, it had a comic book element, a comic book universe that it didn't even reveal until much, much later in the movie, like close to the end, where Jon Bernthal, I can't quite read it, Jon Bernthal, a very well-known actor, appeared at the end as his brother. So in the movie, you had flashbacks to when they were growing up with this totalitarian father that used to train them in the martial arts, but also put them through absolute torture. If someone's beating you up and he was a specky kid, you've got to go back and fight all of the bullies at once, sort of thing. So they both grew up with this incredible knowledge of fighting and so on. But their family split apart when their dad was killed. And they hadn't connected again since. He was also very lethal with weaponry and lived in this huge sort of motorhome thing with real life Jackson Pollocks and stuff on the walls where he'd accepted them for payment and so on. I thought it was a fascinating universe and done really well. They finally come back with a sequel from Gavin O'Connor, who I think directed the original, and making the Jon Bernthal character almost co-lead with Ben Affleck. And this time it revolves around a group of children being held captive by the Mexican drug cartels, and also a person played by Daniela Pineda? I don't think it's Pineda. It's not spelt the same. Daniela Pineda, I said, I moaned about in the Jurassic Park films. I was like, who is this person? Why isn't she being used in more things? And she appears here as another similar person to them, somebody that had a very traumatic brain injury, which narrowed her brain's focus onto basically making a superhuman hitman. So she's another one out there doing the rounds. But there's also this group of children that have been held captive by the Mexican cartels, and Ben Affleck has to hook up with his He's 8 years later, and his brother is extremely annoyed that he hasn't actually carried on contact with him, and that's basically the movie. I was very, very disappointed in this film. Had there not been an Accountant 1, I would have said that this film was entirely watchable. But given that there was, and given that that film had so many elements in it that were unusual or were interesting, this film actually waters down or denudes or removes completely every single aspect of what made the first film so special. It's nonsensical on every level. There's never really a reason why these Mexican cartel want to keep all these children captive. It just doesn't really nothing makes any sense. And they just add the female hit woman cause. Everyone loves Jon Bernthal in everything he's in. This is the first time I've really not liked him at all. His character is so over the top and grating, continually whining about everything and being very, very obnoxiously loud and all over the screen whenever he's on. It's the first time I've really not appreciated him. We do get a couple of the people like J.K. Simmons back again. But even the Ben Affleck character is denuded. He's like a normal person now. Even the chick that he was talking to, which was one of the most powerful elements of the first film, was he had like the woman in your ear sort of thing. You know, these films have someone at head office that's all over the interweb and relays information, does his banking, provides him with new hits and so on. It was a really powerful moment in that film where we found out that she was one of the autistic kids. She's completely non-verbal, and all of her talk was a voice activation thing where she was typing in the words and it was relaying them over the speaker, and that was great. Now they've denuded her as well. And they've got this like team of kids helping them. A team of kids helping you kill lots of people as an assassin. It's like they're trying to juggle so many elements that don't fit this world. Why would you have so many children, putting them in harm's way, providing you with information to do your hits? Anyway, like I said, the action in it is often quite good. The story is complete garbage. But most of all, they've just taken everything that was great out of the first movie, thrown it in the bin and made a much more obvious mainstream normal movie. And critics are saying that it's better than the first one. No, it isn't. I was tempted to give it a pass, but I'm not going to because it left such a bad taste in my mouth. The Accountant 2, I'm going to give a 4 out of 10 to.